Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the AI Newsroom. Svetlana, let's go through the topics quickly.
Yeah. So exciting stuff today. I think we're going to kick off with a report that was just released on May 8th. This is when we were recording. So it's called AI at Work by Microsoft. And there's some really interesting findings. We'll just kind of do a top level review. We'll talk about the mysterious ChatGPT 2 release, quote unquote, this week. We'll also talk about what Microsoft is doing behind the scenes, which is building their own mega AI, or are they? So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about Astrobot, a cool robot,
Astrobot,
and
I think.
Ast. Okay, thank you for. I'll get it. And then we'll keep a secret topic and our thoughts about something that's been trending, and we kind of found a trending topic, and I was like, okay, we should check out what it is together, and it's called Orifice AI. So stay tuned for what it is if you're really curious to learn more, because both of us were just mind blown to find out what it was.
Blown away with like mind blown. I don't know about blown away. Like
Blown away. Potato. All right, so let's kick things off with this AI at Work is here. So this was released by Microsoft, and I think it's so validating some things that I've been kind of talking about on LinkedIn through some of my posts, but what we've even covered here on the AI boardroom previously is that people are going to take advantage of AI and use it at work, whether it's driven top down or whatever have you. If your objectives are set and strategies in place for AI, people will use it. If it's not, people will still use it. So what this people find so much value in AI and how much efficiency is driving towards their work. They are like 3 out of 4 people basically are saying that they're using it at work, AI at work
at
some
least
capacity.
if we talk about knowledge-based workers.
Knowledge-based workers, yes. And I think it's like something on the order of 46% of those folks have adopted AI in just the last 6 months. But the disconnect here is that what I found interesting was that, business leaders actually want some strategy and some kind of direction. So 60% of people actually want their organizational leadership to provide that guidance because they have the boards, their kind of leadership pressuring them to provide ROI, like the initiatives, like what's kind of the return on investment behind, this AI adoption across your enterprise. But because it's bottom up, there's no way to track those metrics, right? So people are using it. They're using it whatever capacity they want. There's no measurement. There's no records of how people are using it, how much efficiencies it's introducing to their business. So, and again, it says that almost 80% of people want to adopt AI to stay competitive, and they worry about the quantifying the productivity gains of AI exactly because of this. Like, how can you quantify it once people have
I think
started
it's
using it?
A lot of times, if you have any of these reports, that's like 90% say that they save time, and sometimes you have like they save a lot of time and they save some time, and they basically don't save time. They lose some say they lose time, and some say they lose a lot of time. Like that's like the most I got from like quantifiable, but it's still
Results,
subjective, right? It would be nice. I think if you look at Klarna, I brought this up oftentimes, but they introduced the AI as a support solution, and they quantified the outcomes. They basically, I think, what was the number? They AI did the work of 600 workers. Which they
I think it's I know which one you're talking about. So they're like a merchant processor or whatever for they developed. I actually did this I recorded. I think they replaced by introducing that chatbot that answered something on the order of like 7 million conversation and replaced
in 35 languages.
Yep, and 700 it's equivalent of the time it takes 700 workers to do that work in like a year.
So something like that.
cost savings are
So
amazing.
yeah, and that's like, well, but they also, and that's the other side, they also spent 3 million to build out the application.
Yeah.
They got the ROI like instantly, basically, but you uh, I oftentimes take this example because like I myself do stuff and then I have my partners like bitching on me why stuff's not working, and I'm like, I'm one guy, like Klarna
Yeah.
had to spend 3 million to get this working. Like, fuck you. It's like, maybe I shouldn't say the F word too much. Maybe that's tanking our videos. But yeah, no, it's interesting. So yeah, but the lack of tracking is like, I think part of it is down to the solutions themselves and how they are implemented, and the other part is like people doing it rogue. So
But
yeah.
so speaking of quantifying it, there is one quantification. So they said, they have this team's users, about 5% of people, summarized 8 hours of meetings using Copilot in the
Mhm.
month of March. So you can quantify it based on like the people who actually have used it. So which is an equivalent of an entire workday for those people. So you can actually summarize that to savings, but yeah, backtracking all of those metrics and
Yeah.
trying to figure out how much cost savings, like wouldn't it be better if you had a strategy in place and you
The
rolled
thing
it
is,
out? Again, it's nice sounding, but it is possible. I think people are getting stagnant, like analysis paralysis, like it's so
yeah.
complicated we won't roll it out. So what happens in between
The
is
thing is with
people.
the meeting summarization, it's also privacy concern that's holding people back. That's actually kind of interesting because
Mhm.
I have talked to a big, like a really big reseller here in Germany, and they use Copilot, and they can not use the meeting summarization because the workers' union in the company, I think it's called workers' union, right? No, workers union is not the right word. Like, how is if you have like um if you have people in the company from the employer side,
Like
like,
full times and contractors
no
or
no
their
no like
union workers.
no, no, union is the wrong word. Let me just quickly Google it. It
Da,
would be
da, da, da.
workers council, works council. Like
Okay.
it's a council inside the company, which kind of oversees
Like
decisions
compliance.
about employees. Like
Got it.
it's by employees for employees, and up like in Germany at least, from a certain size of a company, uh, um, like employees have the right to build such a council,
Hmm.
and decisions from the CEO have to go through the council. Otherwise, and the council can also block stuff. And a lot of times, the council is blocking the meeting summarization part
Oh,
because
okay.
it's saying you start like watching your employees automated, and that's a no-no. um, so it's
Got it.
kind of surveillance argument that they make, and that's why the most useful feature of Copilot, they cannot use it even if they would want to.
Yeah.
That's for that. But yeah, that's topic for another day. Interesting. So, is there anything else from this article which is kind of interesting?
No, I think we've summarized it. It was just again emphasizing some of the things that some of the observations we kind
Yeah.
of talked about before, but now there's a formal kind of report
Yeah,
highlighting this, and it just came
that
out.
I think that's interesting, right? So 97% of leaders agreed their company needs to adapt to AI to stay competitive. That's what I was saying like for a year already. Like, if you want to be competitive, you have to adapt. Um,
Hmm.
and 59% worry about the quantifying productivity gains. That's
Exactly.
interesting. Yeah. But of
Yeah.
course, like, but isn't it like that with every tool? Like, you get your new ERP system, your new CRM system, and like it's not that easy to quantify that, other than like how many leads did I work through or stuff like that, right? So
I mean, there are ways. I think recording time has always been historically, regardless of what's user
but that's
scenario, like how
but
much time
recording
saving something has is really difficult to actually quantify.
yeah, but recording
But
time is not telling you anything about productivity.
mean, it's a proxy, right? Like, yeah, I don't know how much
No, no,
what you were actually
no, it
doing.
isn't. Like it just the only thing it tells you is how long did you stay at the company, or how much did you clock in.
Not
So
necessarily. I think that there's specific tasks, for example, like in healthcare, when you log into a chart, like everything is time
mhm.
stamped, and certain actions performed, and like how much time you're actually taking to do, let's say, a chart review, to actually write,
Interesting.
to actually complete a chart, for
Yeah,
example, and sign off and then let it go. So if you're doing that in half the time, you're actually saving a lot. So again, it's task specific, but
interesting. Yeah,
historically, it's
interesting.
not
Yeah, but
something that
like
you can,
that,
yeah, easily quantify.
I think medical application is like the most. There's the most need of like protocoling everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so might be some special field, but like in general, like you even if you write down your times to make your invoice, how productive you were is not what's in there. Like how often did I do stuff that would have taken me a lot less if I have done completely myself than correcting other people's stuff during that time, which makes me less productive. So you get what I mean. I think like
Yeah,
time and
it
productivity is
depends.
not the same.
It depends on the task. This is what I'm saying. Like I think a lot of the reports have been also talking about productivity. We can talk about measurements if anyone's interested in us covering like measuring ROI and productivity gains. I think please comment below.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. But I think it is very
Maybe we should come up with a framework or something. That could be
there.
nice.
I mean, there are frameworks to quantify it. Again, I would say it's task specific. And
Mhm.
again, like if you think about coders, right, developers, like a lot of the metrics that have been published on how much productivity gains AI, like
Yeah, but
GitHub
it's
AI
also
has provided.
it's also kind of mushy because it's about how many lines of code did you write, and that's not a good metric at all. Like it doesn't say
They
anything
have
about
to
the
use a
quality of the
proxy.
code. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't always like you have to have some proxy. It's gonna you're coming up with like some standard. It's regardless of field. I would argue that it's not necessarily to any specific sector or type of job. It's always difficult to get like an exact measurement, other than
I
you're like
also would say
helicopter parenting them and like actually
yeah.
observing them what they do, and then
I also
also
would
assessing
say
quality.
that's kind of interesting. I also would say like um I write like they always say like Copilot writes 50% of their code or
Hmm.
like of the office. Like I would basically agree on that. It auto completes a lot. Um, but I also delete a lot more lines than previously. So because oftentimes it's not. It's like I have to correct
Not the
stuff.
most.
So
Mm,
maybe we should hold it against them, and then we get some truth out of it.
yeah.
But okay, it saves a lot of time not going to search on the internet because it just gives me the an approximation of the solution. So that's stuff that's definitely quantifiable. Yeah, interesting. So about that.
Yeah, just check it
Oh,
out if you're
the adoption
interested.
rates are high throughout, right? That's
Yeah.
interesting. So it doesn't matter if you're Gen Z or if you're a boomer. Like that's I wouldn't have even thought that 73% of boomers using it. That's
Oh yeah.
that's ridiculous. I like it's only 12% less than Gen Z. That's really interesting.
But it's easy to use technology. And I think in order for you to use, let's say, ChatGPT, you don't actually even have to log in
Uh,
to use it. So it's actually not that difficult.
is
And especially if it's rolled out across your enterprise, it's already available and then like plugged
yeah,
into integrated into your workflow. So
yeah,
I don't think
interesting.
it's surprising.
But it also tells you how powerful it is, right? Because it's nothing that just for like young, fancy, like Silicon Valley people. It's like for everyone because it's natural language and people interact in natural language. That's what I would read from it. Like that's really impressive. I like that's I think the most impressive part of the whole story. Cool,
Yeah. So you
interesting.
want to
So
talk about
yeah,
your mysterious ChatGPT
yeah.
chatbot?
Let's fly over to releases. So this story was kind of interesting because they said the mysterious GPT-2 chatbot. Um, what it was basically, there is a website which is built to test LLMs against each other, and there is like this LM sys chatbot arena, and it's they just appeared out of nowhere a model which was called GPT-2 chatbot, and GPT-2 is kind of, I think, 3 years old by now. So it was kind of weird, and people were testing it and started beating out GPT-4 and Cloud Opus. There were some signs about like that it is an open AI created and uploaded model. I found it pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
it
Maybe they
had,
released it just for the hype, and then they kind of
I
hid
don't
it
know.
behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
maybe. But thing is, people were suggesting like if they release silently like GPT 4.5 for testing
Or
purposes or
5.
something, or 5, yeah. But it definitely wasn't. And but it was interesting because we have here like a tweet. So, and what this user tried is he took Model A, which was Llama 370 billion, which in terms of quality is like at least close, or it oftentimes even beats GPT-4. And tested the GPT-2 chatbot against the ASCII art. You see, there is a difference. Let's say that. I
Interesting.
just went ahead and tried it myself on ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's another hint, but if you look at this unicorn here,
Mm-hmm.
um, it looks hell of a lot like the one we've seen here.
Yeah.
So maybe it is from OpenAI.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see. So you
Yeah.
said that it's no longer available on
No,
Orifice?
they removed it. Some people got in fast enough and tested it out, made even videos about it. It was pretty slow. Might be hardware, might be size of the model. I don't know. Might be architecture of the model. Like these are the three things I think influence inference time the most. But yeah. That's that. Like it was something that provokes speculation. I think was worth mentioning because I'm still waiting for OpenAI to release something. I was it was quite interesting. Did you hear the interview with Sam Altman?
Oh yeah.
And he was basically saying like, yeah, the current GPT-4 model is embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
And he uses the new one already by himself. Like, um,
Can you
and
just release it to the world so we can
I,
see what it's like?
yeah, I think the wording, like calling GPT-4 Turbo embarrassing, and it is the best model out there. Let's we are in for a ride, it seems. So,
Yeah.
well, they like OpenAI. Let go ahead, like because other people are right behind you, even your own partners.
Yeah, release it to us. We won't tell anyone
Yeah,
else how good it
yeah.
is. So,
So even your own partners are hunting you because Microsoft, also interesting news, dropped yesterday, I think, is building an own large language model because Microsoft built a lot of small ones like 5.3. I think we talked about
mhm.
it, and Orca, which was trained on books. So this is an attempt of building like something bigger,
Mhm.
and the project is actually led by Mustafa Suleiman, who is like one of the most renowned guys in the whole AI large language model space. And yeah, I'm really interesting what they will. I wasn't even aware that he started at Microsoft, to be honest. But yeah, it's building like it is a 500 billion language model, which is I think still a third of the size of GPT-4 for Turbo.
Where are they getting all that content?
Hmm?
Is it you think it's what's it called? I mean, it's a lot of content. It's like what
No, the 500
far?
billion is not the content. It's like the amount of weights.
But it's based on the amount of content that it's trained on,
No,
right? So like,
no. For example, you
no.
have Llama 38 billion was also trained on 15 trillion tokens.
So okay.
So yeah, that's my question. Why is everyone trading on some trillion and Facebook is going up to 15? That's interesting. But yeah, I think there is even a TED talk about how not a TED talk, but like a talk from one of the leaders of the Llama Meta AI project. And he will. I wasn't able to see it, like just time constraints, but he was telling how they trained Llama 3 to be that small and that good.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, but interesting. So my OpenAI gets in-house competition basically. And there's like Microsoft tried to play it down as far as I know. But yeah, I think GPT-5 is something I'm really awaiting, and I'm not sure if they like OpenAI said, or like Sam Altman said, they won't release the whole thing and do incremental updates. Will competition force them to release the whole thing at once? I'm not sure.
I wonder what the use case for that big of a model is. That's what I'm curious about.
Well, like I said, 500 billion is not even that big compared to GPT-4. GPT-4 is 1.8 trillion or something.
Parameters?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I thought it
because
was significance.
GPT-4 is a mixture of expert model. It
Okay.
supposedly
Yeah.
has
Gotcha.
eight models sized around that size. But like if you look at Llama 70 billion and what they achieved by proper training, now go ahead, take a third of a model, but proper training. Microsoft has a lot of research and experience now in training the models with their Phi 3 and everything. So yeah, it's interesting. Yet another model.
How are they getting these news? I'm like, reportedly, someone's like leaking information.
But as far as I know, Microsoft even like tried to downplay it, so it's kind of confirmed. So yeah.
Okay.
I think you have to say reportedly to not get sued or something.
Reportedly. All right. So should we talk about this
Yeah.
cool video? I'd love for the audience to
Yeah.
hear or see it. Maybe you can voice over.
I think. Do you hear the sound?
Yeah.
It's just music. I hope
It's a bit loud.
we don't get any copyright claims. That's all.
Maybe you can turn off the sound because it's quite loud.
You have to deal with my voice. This is sound. This is Astrobot. Astrobot is a household robot, which is it is a humanoid. I wouldn't call it like that, but it's at least aiming for arms. I think it's standing on a platform and like has moving arms. Kind of reminds me of a mobile version of what Samsung presented on CES last year, I think, where they had a kitchen when there's two arms in that kitchen that can do kitchen stuff. Kind of reminds me of that. This is a mobile version. What's really impressive is that this stuff is real time. So it can move through your, or at least supposedly, it can move through your home. They don't show it moving, so that's that. But you see, like it's cooking, it's sending over plates, and that's the most interesting point. It should be released in the end of the year.
And it's currently open in cans. So if anyone has any issues opening up jars and stuff like that, I mean, great investment. So
I wouldn't be that sarcastic because it's a Chinese robot, and the Chinese I've lately seen a lot of car developments, like in electric cars in China, and like they are quite a bit ahead. Meanwhile, like in all what they do.
Look at it folding clothes too.
And they have the production capabilities. We know that, and if they now also can like get the thing to work properly, yeah, I think this might be something. Honestly, if this is somewhere in the ballpark of 15K, I think there is a big market for it.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see it folding clothes? And
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this before the episode started recording. I could totally see a couple of use cases for it in my house. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is
Yeah.
top
This is
notch.
like,
Like
yeah.
my
It can dance. It can dance with my kids instead of me. I think that's that's the purpose. Something I don't know.
go
um,
play with
I,
Astrobot.
I think they have some kind of teach mode where it can mimic stuff, which kind of can be useful. This is Chinese handwriting. I'm completely lost on that. Like, is it good? Is it bad?
Yeah.
Could be anything. But yeah, um, it's the S1, S1, and maybe you should contact them and ask about some
Yeah, could you let
information.
us know next episode, like
Uh,
what you find out about the cost? Because
I'll
I'm
s-
curious.
I'll see. I don't want to get into Chinese radar, to be honest, but
There's this guy Edgar really interested about our product
yeah,
based in Germany.
yeah. Let's get rid of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
Oh, should
Um,
we talk about your favorite topic? What you were considering about buying just before we started this episode?
first of all, it's the topic you researched, and worse, that's a topic you all searched.
No. So the way I came across
Yeah,
this, now let's clarify.
I'll just switch to it, and now you start explaining yourself out of it.
No, we studied it together, so we have to go on this together. Anyway, so I was doing some keyword research for like trending topics on YouTube, and this kept popping up in like multiple ways for whatever reason. Orifice AI, and I was like, I'm just gonna not, jot it down. And then I briefly just looked at the description online. I was like, it sounded like some AI porn website or whatever. And so I brought it as a topic here. I was like, oh,
Even better.
this has been trending. And then we, for the first time together, came, across this website, started analyzing it. And
I haven't seen it up until today, and I was like, WTF, what is that?
it's trending. But as we said, even I guess in the world of AI, sex sells everywhere in whatever technology or whatever space or industry you apply it.
I didn't even see that. AI woman, a woman, and it's trademark.
Oh, so apparently you could replace, if you look at some of these, replacement of modern women. So it's an AI adult toy for men,
Yeah.
which has a device and I think a chatbot. So
This is
yeah,
like,
we were completely inappropriate, but
why is it only big enough for one finger? Like, that's not how it works. Nevertheless, Orphis adult toy for men, replace of modern women. Like, someone seems to get so sick of women that he decided, hey, let's build some creepy tool for it.
oh my gosh,
And
no modern women is capable of. Yeah, so I think
No.
someone is like a big
that's
woman
No.
hater.
Oh, that's a video. They swipe.
No.
They swipe through the women.
Yeah, I think that there's a chatbot associated with the device, if you will. So then they choose a.
This
And then
voice.
it ends.
Jesus Christ.
How does it end? How does it?
Oh, fuck you. How can like this has to be muted. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you,
And
it's for
I'm
whatever
pretty
reason it's
liberal on
trending.
that stuff, right? So like, but this looks so much like a scam to me, to be
But look at the
honest.
roadmap. Like apparently, I mean, it's maybe the reason why it's
Everyone-
trending. So
everyone
if you
can-
go down in the
everyone can
page,
come up with a roadmap. Like, but this is basically something it can do no modern woman is capable of. Okay, so if I understand it right, then like Orphus AI just generates AI video woman, which like kind of you like, you don't, whatever, and then you put your whatever inside that thing. Yeah, okay. The thing is, if I would love to pre-order it, I can.
so
I have the like charming price. Like I can save some bucks and get it for $6.90 before tax. That's ridiculous.
It's very expensive. Yeah,
This
I
whole
think
thing can't be real, to be honest. Like, what the like? First of all, I think there definitely has to be some toys from special stores that do the same thing. Why add some AI to it? I don't know what it can
I'm
do, what it
telling you,
can't.
because AI, I mean, sex sells regardless of industry. Now AI is in the picture. I mean, everyone's trying to.
Yeah,
Oh, look, it became red. So I think it's your turn to pre-order.
yeah. Future enhancements is nice because like a content store, yeah, truly interactive content engages with features that bring a new level of interaction to your experience. Virtual reality, that has to be in there. I see myself
Personalized.
I see myself wearing the Apple Vision Pro and that thing. Jesus Christ! And it's like
They have a team.
don't let me start about hygiene. Like,
No, but the interesting thing is like the investors don't show their faces.
yeah,
But they have them apparently. So
yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure they are like really known investors, but they know that is not something you
like, yeah,
want to be assigned to.
don't include me on your website
And this is
if it
also
works.
like they link some videos and stuff, and if I click on the Verge, like that's what I get is like some random forum post. That's
Shady.
yeah, that's really shady. So I don't know what they're up to. I don't know why this is trending. Maybe they have some bots let it trend. Like prototypes, so cool.
Yeah.
And it ships in December, so go pre-order it.
Oh, there's why a worldwide demand. Like you missed the map.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
map. It's the demand is
Like,
huge.
men live here. Yeah, thank you very much.
Why is the population of men so densely
Jesus
packed in
Christ.
US versus the rest of the world?
At least it's consistent. Alaska here has the same amount of demand as here. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How to get in touch? That's so
Oh,
hilarious.
the and then big. No, but you have to cover the cost. You gotta cover the cost as well because I think you clicked it, right?
Yeah, but it oh no,
Oh, it increased. Oh, it's
no,
because
I
you
have
have now
to.
two.
No, yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Some like I have a growing son.
for you and your best friend.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I think it's a bargain.
It's a bargain. I mean, a modern woman,
if I think
a
about
replacement of modern women.
if I think about what I pay for wife and children, like that's a bargain. And you save on condoms.
We need
Or
to.
you, or
I
you,
need
or
to send
maybe
this
you.
portion of the episode to your wife.
Jesus Christ! Like it can't be serious, honestly. Like really not.
Yeah,
Yeah, but in the end, Orphus is. This
check it out. I mean, tell us,
is he
please, if
real?
you
Is there a Brian Mitchell that looks like him, or is he AI generated?
someone create this fake
Yeah,
website.
maybe.
Yeah, tell us like why is this trending?
I
Why
don't
are
know.
people searching for this? Is this fake or is it real? What are
Is
your guys'
this
takes?
video at least
Leaning towards fake, yeah, because
final
it's
AI replacement for like AI just killed
human women.
OnlyFans, wanting to almost yeah, and I can't watch this. I can't.
Killed,
Yeah,
killed again. Everyone, new technologies always kill.
It's like- also, like people like for now, I'm in the industry now for 15 years, and for 15 years I'm hearing websites are dead, and they're as alive and well. What I
Yeah.
found hilarious are the tweets they put in here, like. The term biological woman is about to get a whole new meaning. What? Even if she does not want
At
you, she
minimum,
still wants to want her.
yeah,
Mom, get out! I'm playing sex box. Yeah, that's in your face.
appropriate, very appropriate.
The woman cried out, "It doesn't love you like a real person." Jesus,
Neither do
it's
you.
fast. I can't read it that fast.
So if anything, you guys can get entertainment out of this website. Have a laugh, but
AI girlfriends have ruined actually less laughs than real girlfriends. Oh, I love that. But
hell of a
what
day.
are you saying as a modern woman?
It's trash.
Do you feel threatened by it?
Of course, yeah. For $900, I mean, as you said, it's a bargain. So I'm concerned for all the women out there.
Jesus Christ.
So
No.
Like could we stay with VR porn or something? Like Jesus Christ.
which I mean,
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not shocked about that product because like I said, there are toys out there doing the same thing. At least I guess. But I'm shocked that it's trending. Like I'm worried about you guys out there.
oh my goodness, we should message them to be like, as a consequence of this episode, how many additional orders or how many additional views is your page getting?
Yeah, enough of that shit. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I would say we are done. Like I'm really done.
Well, tell us how. I mean, I'm still waiting to hear from others what you guys think about this Orifice and why the heck is this trending and is it real? Is it not? Like, what have you guys been hearing
maybe you
about it?
should check
Because
your
I'd
research
love to know.
method. Honestly.
Actually, it's YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
YouTube keyword. Like, actually, they have
I know,
whatever
I
a
know.
web their search tool for trending topics. That's how I found
Yeah.
it. So YouTube
So
themselves.
here you got it. That's your trending topic of the week. We ended here with that. I hope the next trending topic won't be again the same. So
we'll take turns. Edgar comes up with the next one. So
yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Back to being a bit serious. Thank you very much for listening. It was fun as always. We try to get things out faster in the future. And if you want to see more content of us, you see it somewhere around here. I think there, like there. Yeah.
one of these directions.
It's a bit hard because the screen is split. I can't show across the screen, but never mind. So yeah, on the one side you see our channel. Please subscribe. Would mean the world to us. On the other side, you see our latest podcast release, and yeah, was a really cool episode. So thank you very much. Have a nice day, and thank also.
Yeah, hope you guys had fun. We'll see you around.
Yeah. Bye bye.